The Ricardian Rent theory, named after the classical economist David Ricardo, is a foundational concept in the field of economics, particularly in the study of land rent and resource allocation. It was first articulated in Ricardo's 1817 work, Principles of Political Economy and Taxation. The theory explains how rent arises due to differences in the fertility and productivity of land, and it has broader implications for understanding income distribution and resource use. Key concepts of Ricardian Rent theory. 1. Economic rent. Ricardian rent refers to the payment made for the use of land or other natural resources that are fixed in supply. It is the surplus earned by landowners due to the superior productivity of their land compared to the least productive land in use. 2. Differential rent. Ricardo argued that rent arises because of differences in the quality of land. The most fertile or well-located land generates higher output per unit of input, labor and capital, compared to less fertile or poorly located land. This difference in productivity creates a surplus, which is captured as rent by the landowner. 3. Marginal land. Marginal land is the least productive land that is still brought into cultivation to meet demand. It earns no rent because its productivity is just enough to cover the costs of production, wages and profits. Rent is only earned on land that is more productive than this marginal land. 4. No rent land. Ricardo introduced the concept of no rent land, which is land that is so unproductive that it generates no surplus after covering production costs. This land determines the margin of cultivation and serves as a benchmark for calculating rent on more fertile land. 5. Law of diminishing returns. The theory is closely tied to the law of diminishing returns. As more labor and capital are applied to a fixed amount of land, the additional output, marginal product, eventually decreases. This principle explains why rent increases as more productive land becomes scarce. 6. Population growth and rent. Ricardo observed that as population grows, demand for agricultural products increases, forcing the cultivation of less fertile land. This process drives up rents on the more fertile land, as the difference in productivity between the best and marginal land widens. Implications of Ricardian rent theory. 1. Income distribution. Ricardo used the theory to analyze the distribution of income among the three main classes of society: landowners, who earn rent, capitalists, who earn profits, and laborers, who earn wages. He argued that as population grows and less fertile land is cultivated, rents rise, squeezing profits and potentially slowing economic growth. 2. Land taxation. Ricardo's theory influenced debates on land taxation. Since rent is a surplus earned by landowners due to natural advantages, some economists like Henry George argued that taxing rent would not distort production incentives and could be a fair way to raise government revenue. 3. Resource scarcity. The theory highlights the role of scarcity in determining economic value. Land and natural resources are finite, and their differential productivity creates economic rent. 4. Criticism and limitations. The Ricardian rent theory has been criticized for its narrow focus on agricultural land and its assumption of fixed land supply. Modern economists have extended the concept to other factors of production, such as urban land, natural resources, and even human capital. The theory also assumes perfect competition and does not account for market imperfections or technological advancements that can alter land productivity. Modern applications. While Ricardo's theory was developed in the context of 19th century agriculture, its principles remain relevant today. For example, urban economics uses the concept of differential rent to explain land values in cities, where location plays a critical role in determining rent. Environmental economics applies the theory to analyze the allocation of scarce natural resources, such as water or minerals. In summary, the Ricardian rent theory is a cornerstone of classical economics, providing insights into the nature of rent, resource allocation, and income distribution. Its emphasis on differential productivity and scarcity continues to inform economic thought and policy.